What's up guys, Love Smash, back again with a new video, and today's topic is going to be Sakuri's Miiverse post. And by that, we're going to talk about anything Sakurai said, whether it was in the Miiverse, or any kind of post he's made, anything he's said, talking about the game, and we're going to delve into talking about some first and third party characters, and we're going to focus on Ridley and Pac-Man. As you can see, two hot topics in Smash Bros. Discussion, because a lot of people do want to see these two characters, a lot of people want to see one of them, and a lot of people don't want to see either of them. So we're going to talk about a lot of facts that people have said compared to these characters of why they should or should not be playable. So we're going to delve into that. We're going to talk about a few other characters, but we're going to go in depth about these two the most. And like always, my videos are only speculation, nothing is official in any way, and this is more of a kind of lay all the facts on the line kind of video, and you can make your decision at the end. But as you can see, if you're like me, you go on the website every day, you check the updates, and a photo was shown about a week ago, a little over a week, more than a week ago, and it was this. Pick of the day. This dog is huge. Wait, no, the playable characters are small. Smash Bros. Isn't always fit the scale, which means like size doesn't matter, and this immediately led to a lot of people saying, Ridley's going to be in the game, here comes Ridley, size doesn't matter, they can shrink him down. Okay, a lot of people thought that. And then, I don't know if anyone figured this, took this post that came exactly a week later when he referenced Waluigi, and he said, hold on, it's coming up in a second. Pick of the day. Once again, Waluigi's assist trophy joins the collection, which means he will not be playable. Just because you try hard doesn't mean you'll make it to the battle. And by that, I think Sakurai was referencing how a lot of people want characters like Waluigi and Bowser Jr. and Geno and Ridley and King K. Rool and characters like that. They're really high in the list of characters wanted, but at the same time, just because people want and ask him doesn't mean he's going to put them in. Now, when it comes to Ridley,
that's a huge bitch!
Exactly. Ridley is big, and this is the argument a lot of people make. Here's a picture somebody made, and it's showing how Ridley would fit the scale with the other characters if he was to be sized down. So a lot of people do have the argument saying you can shrink Ridley down. They've done it with Bowser. They've sized up Olimar. And then there's a group saying Ridley is just too big. You can't resize him. Here's a photo of Ridley where Link is fitting in the size of the mouth of Ridley. He's so gigantic. There's no way you can shrink him down and make him believable. So we're going to delve into... First, we're going to talk about Ridley's size in past games. Now, as you can see, it's going to be coming up in about a second. Here it is. Here's Ridley from the original Metroid. Ridley is the same size as Samus, which a lot of people like to use in their arguments. And then, here's Ridley in the intro, another one that people like to use in the argument saying that he could be sized down. And here's another boss from Metroid, Kyrad is the name, or something like that. Another boss, same size as Samus as the one before, and another creature about the same size as Samus. And then every other single game up until now, so starting from Super Metroid to now, Ridley has been gigantic and towering over Samus. So, what this means is that a lot of people say they use the two arguments and they stand by that, while everyone else says he's big in every other game. So who's right here? Well, when you take the first game into consideration, you gotta chalk it up to hardware limitations, because not only was Ridley the same size as Samus, every other boss in that game was the same size as Samus. There's only so much you could do with an 8-bit cartridge, and that's why Ridley was the same size. At least that's what I think. And finally, when you get the more space on the hard, like the cartridge and everything, and the disc, Ridley got his main size to be gigantic like they wanted him to. And you'll see here are clips from every game showing how big he is, up to the point where Samus is fitting in his mouth and the palm of his hand, and he's crushing her with his fist. So that's why I kind of feel like Ridley is too big to be playable. And there are other things here. Like, for instance, here he is in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Sakurai had the opportunity to make him playable in Melee and Brawl if he could have, but he didn't. He was only in the intro in Melee, and he was the boss in Subspace Emissary twice as Meta Ridley 2 in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. So why would they take a character who they made a boss, made him his actual size, and then all of a sudden shrink him down and make him playable? Now, here's the Pyro Spear stage, where a lot of people say Ridley is going to be either a stage hazard or at least appear in the background of the stage in some way, because there are no from Samus's past that is a main villain, and this is the exact level where Samus fights Ridley, and a lot of people don't even consider that logical. They say Ridley could still be in it, as you could see, with the thing Alfonso and Toon Link thing, when they swap out, people say, oh, Ridley could still be playable, he can be in the stage house or whatever, but then, okay, you can replace him with another enemy from that level that you fight in the Pyrosphere. And here's actually a quote from Sakuria when he was for Ridley. He'd say, if we did put him in, we could have possibly if we tried hard enough, but it seems pretty impossible, and he would be slowed down. Now, here's D, and you'll see Bowser and Donkey Kong compared to the size of Ridley in Brawl. If they were to include Ridley, that means he'd have to be bigger than all of them, and you would have to tone down his moveset where he'd be completely slow and not even powerful, and you know they want to make this a balanced game, so why would they include this giant character and tone down everything that he has that makes him the character that he is just to be playable? I feel like Sakurai wouldn't do that just to please people, but you really never know what he's capable of since he's such a troll. As you know, he puts things up and he takes them down and he makes you want to speculate. That's why we make videos like this. And people say, okay, they size down Bowser and they re-upped Olimar. The thing with Bowser is Bowser's size has varied from game to game, as you'll see here in some screenshots. Bowser has been about the same size he is compared to Mario in the Super Smash Bros. Games. He's been about double the size of Mario, but it's in the realm where it does work and doesn't look odd, where Ridley might. And people say they sized up Olimar. But at the same time, Olimar is the franchise. He is the main character of the Pac-Man franchise, which they want to represent. Ridley is not the main character of Metroid, where they would have to shrink him down to represent that franchise. Samus is the main character. So, and just going back to Alfonso for a second, Alfonso is the engineer on the level. You'll see, like as you saw him driving the train as Toon Link does, so it makes sense in that way. But with Ridley, it's like that is the character you fight on that exact stage. He is the enemy from Samus's past that you fight on that stage. And people argue clone Ridley or whatever, but does that even matter in a sense? But whatever. I would lean towards Ridley more not being playable, but since nobody knows what Sakurai is capable of, I'm just going to call this inconclusive, and please let me know what you guys think in the comments about all this and what you guys, anything you have towards this topic. Alright? So now we're on to Pac-Man now, which a lot of people for some reason don't want playable, and a lot of people do. And here's a quote from from Sakurai himself discussing Mega Man.
I'm not going to have just any character participate from other companies, but he's definitely in a class of his own.
Alright, so listen what he said by that. He's in a class of his own, and he's just not going to have any character from other companies participate in the game. Now, when I think of that, that means a character has to have some kind of history, he has to be a huge franchise character, and he just has to be well known by people, and what I take from that, you have to be the mascot of that company. If you are not the mascot of the company, you shouldn't even be considered in the conversation for a third-party character in Super Smash Bros. Because people really, when I ask people in my top 10 video, you haven't seen, you look at the comments, I've asked people to be realistic in seeing who they wanted added, and about 20% I'd say are realistic, and the other 80 are just completely random, out of the ordinary. Some are unknown. Some people like Goku, Naruto, Luffy from One Piece, Disney characters, Mickey Mouse, Sora, these characters from this random ninja game, Cave Story, Minecraft Steve, Scott Pilgrim, Zoidberg, just these random characters. So when I think of that, as you can see, here's a list of a bunch of mascots from gaming companies. So a few names do jump out at you, like Simon Belmont, or Rayman, or Ryu Hayabusa, or characters along that nature, like still relevant in a way, old school, have a history with Nintendo, so they kind of do jump out, but at the same time, they're not as likely, since Namco is developing this game, and like you take that Namco's mascot and the fact that he is one of the biggest gaming icons ever. No, there's not a person in this world who hasn't played the game Pac-Man. And I know people want Colonia or Lloyd Irving, but do they have the history that Pac-Man has? Is that one of the biggest franchises in gaming? Is that a character who is one of, like, a game that has revolutionized gaming, a character that everyone can identify, everyone knows the fact, and it's not like people say, oh, they just want him in there to please fanboys, that's what people want him, or you can't think of a moveset. I don't think it's the fact of pleasing fanboys, I think it's the fact that Namco, like, if they're going to get a rep from, I know there's been reports saying they might not get a rep for third party, but if they do, there's only one logical choice, and that is Pac-Man. Compared with the history he has with Nintendo with Mario, the fact that he is the mascot, the fact that he is as old school as you could possibly get, and the fact that people can't think of a moveset. If you could think of a moveset for Fox and Falco and Captain Falcon and the Wii Fit Trainer and Villager, you could certainly think of a moveset for Pac-Man. And as you see coming up, there are going to be screenshots of moves Pac-Man has used in his games that you could easily make a moveset from. So those are just some of the reasoning I've had besides that, and him just, everything coming together in that in Pac-Man, that he just even, it just looks like he fits in. That's why I think he's the best choice. So that's where I made my decision from. Of course, people have their own opinions, like always. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But for me, that's my opinion. So guys, that is the video for today. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If anyone has an idea for a video, like always, leave it in the comments. Maybe I'll do a video about it. And like always, thank you guys so much for watching and supporting the channel. It's been growing, and I'll see you guys in a while.